With 1.20 being the next Minecraft update, what will it bring? Possibly a new revamp of the end, or maybe some old forgotten mob like the Copper Golem. But some of the possibilities are going to blow your mind. The community loved the 1.19 Deep Dark update. With this, an extension to the Deep Dark would be quite interesting. For example, a new mob like this giant sculk worm right here. It would be able to grab you from anywhere and pull you to the depths. Or like this dude right here, who would drop echo shards upon defeat. And yes, he does look like a mutated warden. But what Mojang really needs to add is warden loot drops. And yes, the developer said otherwise, but still, it would be insane to get warden type armors that would have warden type effects. For example, having the ability to nearsight opponents for a short amount of time while fighting them. And this helmet looks fire, by the way. Talking about armor, wouldn't it be cool to get copper armor added to Minecraft? Leather and stone is kind of outdated, and iron is by far the most overused ore, so it definitely would be useful to get some use out of copper. Maybe even for tools like the pickaxe or shovel. Now imagine riding a horse with copper armor while trying to defeat mobs with a copper sword, while it is all turning green or oxidizing. But copper should have another use, and you probably remember it, the Copper Golem. Just look at these little bots, genuinely the most wholesome new mob. All you need to create him is copper, then press the button and boom, you have yourself a Copper Golem. And you can even create an army of Copper Golems, since they will activate each other. For Mojang, this would be a very good addition, considering the number of people who loved and still love the Copper Golem. And plus, it already has an in-game design, so it wouldn't be much of a hassle for Mojang to implement this into the game. But the Copper Golem is not the only mob that has the potential. Remember the mob vote from 2020 where the Glow Squid won? I don't know why people really voted for the Glow Squid, but it is what it is. This would be another great opportunity to add the Iceologer, as the Iceologer would revive the snowy biomes of Minecraft. He would attack you with hypnotized polar bears and throw snowballs at you. Another mini boss to fight would be epic, considering how boring igloos are currently. And yes, igloos are not the only structure that needs a revamp in 1.20, and I am talking about desert temples. Although they are an essential and iconic part of the desert biome, the biome overall needs a remake. Maybe in 1.20 they can add some new mobs and or some structures which would allow to make desert exploration more interesting. Maybe revamped temples or statues like the ones built underwater, or maybe these giant skeletons of dinosaurs or dragons randomly generated in these biomes. But what would be even better are the marauders, who would randomly spawn in the desert similar to the pillagers. They would travel in groups of 5 to 8 in a wagon. Think of them as desert pillagers, which would look way more similar to actual players. Perhaps once you defeat some marauders, you could get a key or special item, which you can use in a pyramid for some epic loot. But in reality, any addition will be better than the boring desert wells. These additions cannot even compare to some later in the video. Talking about additions, remember the bundles which were talked about before 1.19 was released? Well, what if Mojang added different types of bundle, like the diamond bundle, which would allow you to store an insane amount of items. Either way, if the bundle gets added in 1.20, it will definitely affect how people store small quantities of different items. But what Mojang really needs is a feature that combines both chest plates and elytras. There is literally no reason why they should not add. Now yes, you can go comment how this would mess up the enchantments of both items, but Mojang can literally do this by adding another inventory slot just for the elytra. And there you go, your elytra and your chest plate both on at the same time. Another new type of enchantment that Minecraft needs are enchantments to Shulker Boxes. The refill enchantment would allow you to build with blocks from your Shulker box. There, your inventory blocks will almost be never ending, and you will be able to build your favorite house without going into your inventory. And the siphon enchantment, which would instantly put the items you pick up into your Shulker box. This would be game changing in the building side of Minecraft and an awesome addition to the 1.20 update. Remember the 1.16 update where Minecraft remade the Nether by adding various colorful biomes to the Nether? But what about the end? The end has been left untouched since the Ender update back in 2016, when elytras and the Shulker related structures got added. Well, wouldn't the 1.20 update be the perfect opportunity for Mojang to update all this empty space? The end has the least amount of mobs in any dimension. Even the desert has more mobs than the whole end dimension. Well, what if Mojang implemented some new biomes, just like they did with the Nether? Take a look at how mysterious this all looks with these colors and shades. There would be a new type of wood, and no, not the chorus plant, but an actual harvestable building block. Now some of the builds would be insane. In certain biomes, there could be emesis type spheres for the trees, and reimagined end cities that actually do look like cities, rather than just purple columns. 1.20 can also introduce a new type of armor. Just like with the Warden armor, Enderite would give you Ender type of abilities. For example, a sword that has the ability to teleport when Ender Pearls are added to it, or a bow that could launch those Eyes of Ender for damage, or maybe the ability to pick up blocks like the Enderman. And talking about mobs, the End is the only biome that needs an update to them. The only truly unique mob in the End is the Shulker. It has some cool floating abilities, but it's really underwhelming, especially considering how massive the End dimension is. Therefore, an added mob could be passive, like the pigs, cows, and sheep in the overworld, but this time in the End. For example, the Stalker, as you can see here, which would have Enderman type abilities, but only without attacking you when you look into its eyes. Another passive mob could be this mutated frog-like creature, which would only live in these giant purple trees in the End. As you can see, the number of potential mobs for the End is unlimited, and Mojang can really get creative. Well, what if Mojang added a new type of geode? Have you seen this item after the 1.19 update? This is called the Echo Shard, or giving it a better name, a Skull Crystal. Well, what if Mojang added a new type of geode? The emesis geodes are quite beautiful, but they are low in quantity, and to get more out of them, they could be potentially added to other biomes and dimensions. For example, the Sculk geode would have these Echo Shards inside them, since the only way to obtain them is through looting ancient city chests, which is extremely dangerous and difficult. While Mojang should not stop there, as they could add nether geodes for various biomes including the basalt, glowstone, and quartz geodes. And inside the end dimension, they could be for a custom type of crystal or enderite, which could be inside. Now that would be a cool way to get enderite. An outvoted mob that needs to be added is the hovering inferno. He looks insane, just look at him. The buffed blaze shoots a sideways burst of fireballs. He looks like an actual boss from Elder Ring, or something like that, especially considering that the wizard is getting quite old and is not the strongest anymore. It could be a perfect addition to 1.20 for the mob boss category. If anyone else remembers the potential mob, it was the monster of the great depths, another mini boss that could get added in the further aquatic updates, maybe in 1.21. Well, what if Mojang did a mob vote on the mobs which did not get elected from previous years? The mob vote would be stacked, having the Copper Golem, the Hovering Inferno, and the Isolager. It surely would have been a hard choice of which one to pick. But now it's time for the largest possible change. What if Mojang decided to add a new dimension? After doing some research about the ancient cities in the Deep Dark, many other people and I have concluded the central structure in the ancient cities is in fact a portal. Well, what would happen if you go inside the portal? Well, here it is, the Deep Dark dimension, housing all the Deep Dark mobs from earlier in the video, and all of the biomes that you can imagine. As you can see, it would be similar to the Nether dimension, but still give off a different, darker feeling, if that makes sense. It will create meaning for the annoying phantom, and explain from where they come from. Like, no joke, whoever voted for the phantoms probably regrets it. A unique block in this dimension could be the sculk jaw, which works similar to a Venus flytrap, but instead of grabbing you and holding on to you for a couple of seconds. This would also justify Minecraft to add sculkanite or an armor, and so many other things to the 1.20 Minecraft update. Maybe it is too much to ask for. If you want to know the real possibility of the Deep Dark dimension happening in the next update, then make sure to watch this video next. And yes, we solve the mystery about the Warden as well. Biggest thank you to all the mod creators who made this video possible. And yes, watch the Deep Dark video next. See you there!